My name is Maria 5. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back to my channel if you're not so new. I am here with a tea and a make and a book that is stirring up all kinds of talk. So, the tea. This is it here. It has a little bit of honey in it. It is white and jasmine tea. And the white tea is actually really good for antioxidants. And it's subtle. I mean, I tried it without the honey and decided it was better with just a little wee bit of honey. It is definitely better. But yeah, it is subtle, but it's good. It's very good, and they say to enjoy it in the evening. So a bit of a calming effect, and when you don't have any other flavors in your mouth, I'm presuming, because yeah, they say that it is subtle. So there we go, white and jasmine tea. The tea for the day, the week, and the make. I have some bookmarks here. I've got two different kinds. So they're little corner bookmarks, and you just put them on the corners, slide them into the pages of the book. And I particularly like this fleur-de-lis pattern. It symbolizes French, but if you flip it around, and this I believe is Joseph Campbell, but it is a symbol of femininity, and it was this symbol first, then the French came and flipped it around and called it the fleur-de-lis. But it's a very, very old symbol. So I've always been particularly attached to that. And then these are some of the other bookmarks that I have made. And same idea of fleur-de-lis with these little ribbon tabs. There is a Facebook link that I copied these off of. I mean, I'm probably smart enough to figure it out on my own, but I didn't. I actually used a tutorial on YouTube, and yeah, they're really cute little bookmarks. Not that I need more, but hey, I have Monroe Books is in Victoria, and I used to live there many, many years ago. And it is still to this day my absolute favorite bookstore in Canada. Not that I've been to all of them, of course I have not, but I've been to a lot, and it is my ultimate favorite bookstore. So I have all these bookmarks. I should grab you one. And these bookmarks from Monroe Books, and they were slowly wearing out, and I haven't been to Victoria in 6 years now. So yeah, they are slowly starting to disintegrate. So I have some new ones. And these ones here, actually, my girlfriend Shannon actually made first for me. I'd never seen these before, but she presented me with a couple of them, and I thought, these are so cute. And then, of course, one of them's lost somewhere downstairs in my stash of fabric, and the other one is currently in a book. So I thought, I could make a couple more of these because I do really like them. So that is the make for this week. I'm really hoping that I will have my cape to show you next week. I really hope so. It's so close to being done, but it's not ready yet. Anyway, all right, so that is the tea and the make, and without too much, we're going to get into the novel, which is Hunchback by Sao Ichikawa. It was published in 2023 in Japanese. It has been translated by Polly Barton in 2025. It's only been out for a few months, and I was lucky enough to get a copy from the library really quickly. So it says Hunchback, a novel, and in North America, at any rate, our definition of novel is 300 pages. So technically this isn't really a novel. It's a novella. It is 90 pages long, but what an impactful 90 pages it is. It's quick. It's not going to take you a lot of time to sit down and read it, but the message in it and the story in it is mind-blowing, I think, in my personal opinion. It's won awards. It's really good, insightful, impactful read, I must say. So I'm not going to give it all away. As per usual, this is a book talk, not a book review. So we meet Shaka, and she lives in a care facility, and she owns the care facility. Her parents made sure that she had a lot of money, and so she has got all the money in the world. But she has been diagnosed and has lived with congenital myopathy, which is a muscular condition, since she was age 13, so many, many years. She's in a wheelchair. She has very, very little mobility, and her spine is like an S, and it crunches down. So she has to be very careful with what she does and what she does not do. And yeah, she's on a ventilator a lot of the time, just taking the mucus out of her lungs. It's quite the existence. I'm just going to read you a little bit here. So this here was, I thought one of the more, there's a couple of them, but this is one of the more, I thought, insightful pieces. And of course, it will stimulate all kinds of conversation that's already going on out there. We have, holding in both hands an open book, 3 or 4 centimeters in thickness, took a greater toll on my back than any other activity. Being able to see, being able to hold a book, being able to turn its pages, being able to maintain a reading posture, being able to go to a bookshop to buy a book. I loathe the exclusionary machismo of book culture that demanded that its participants meet these 5 criteria of able-bodiedness. Ooh. Wow, right? That is really, I think, very insightful if you are in a wheelchair, if you are very restricted in your mobility, where you cannot hold a book because you can feel your spine compressing. That is something that I think almost every one of us does take for granted. And there's this whole discussion with people that say, oh, you actually have to have a physical book in order to be a book lover. Audiobooks don't count. Anything digital, e-reader, that doesn't count. And this, again, is just my personal opinion, but I have never bought into that. I don't have particularly wonderful eyesight. And in the evening, my eyes get, as the day goes on, they get older. That's probably the best way to describe it. So there's that. There's also, I learned to sew in grade 9, and so I have always sewn, and I've always read books. You cannot do both at the same time. So you either have to figure out how to make it work, or you have to give one up. And I discovered books on tape. Back then, they were books on those little cassette tapes. And so every 30 minutes, you'd have to get up and flip the tape around and then press play again. But I could sew and read at the same time. So there's always been that for me. And of course, now we have Libby and, all these audiobooks that you can simply download on your phone. You don't even need an extra thing. Well, you need your phone, but other than that, you don't need an extra gadget of any kind. So there's that. But I also tend to, I do listen to audiobooks, but I also tend to get books in large print. If that's an option, I always go for that option. Again, there's one of my all-time favorite authors. Her name is Maggie Stiefvater. She's got a new book coming out this year, and you will be hearing about her. But she had this book, and that was the only way I could get it, was digitally. Okay, I read it digitally. I feel like, and that doesn't make me, it doesn't make me less of a book lover at all. I will read in any medium, but this is the kid who is always reading cereal boxes and tea boxes and whatever's basically put in front of me. But I'll read anything. It's just in my nature. If there's print in front of me, my eyes go to it and I read it. So Shaka makes this big point about how she can only read on her iPad. She can only read digitally. And does that make her less of a reader? And I, for one, would say no, it does not. That is what you can read and you still love reading? Yes, good for you. This is awesome. Just my personal opinion, but kudos to anybody who can overcome anything. If you need books in big print, if you need audiobooks, if whatever's happening in your life, but you still want to read, kudos. That's brilliant. I think you've overcome something, replaced it with something that works for you. How can anybody criticize that? That does not make you any less of a book lover. And yes, having said that, there is something about holding the physical book and turning the physical pages. Yes, I really enjoyed that. but only because I can. If I couldn't do it, I would still read. I would still, do everything I needed to do. It wouldn't be in physical form. Okay, enough said about that. All right, so she's a virgin. Shaka, she's a virgin, but she posts things like, in another life, I'd like to work as a high-class prostitute. That's a pretty shocking statement, I feel. One of her next posts is, my ultimate dream is to get pregnant and have an abortion, just like any normal woman. Now that, wow. She normalizes abortion in that one statement, feeling that is like the ultimate female experience. And I found that a little shocking. Like, really? That's the ultimate? That's a little bit sad, right? If that's the ultimate female experience is to get pregnant and have an abortion. Anyway, that's a whole different question of ethics and everything else, which I'm not going to go into here. That's not what this is about. But that one sentence should provoke something in you. It's like, oh. So she raises the question of having so much money, but the inability to do a lot of everyday things, feeling like a fulfilled woman. There's some really interesting and deep, thought-provoking points that I think this book makes. And it's really interesting that it took up until now for somebody with disabilities like this to be published and actually have it presented in such a light that it's to my knowledge, and I've checked, to my knowledge, this book is not banned. It is not on, I mean, yes, it's only been out in English a few months. Give it time. Maybe that's the point, but it's not banned at this point. It's just pretty incredible, pretty incredible. So I'm not going to give anything else away, but trust me, more happens in this book. But I'm going to leave it to you. If you were at all inclined, if I have sparked you to maybe take a look at some of these big questions, please do give it a read and let me know in the comments below what you thought. So thank you so much for listening. Please like, please subscribe. We will see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.